Richard.
I'm Debbie.
And we are
Richby's Life Adventures.
I've been through heartaches, I've been to heaven. I've done my best and my worst, learned my lessons. No matter how hard my life would treat me, I'd always get right back up, never worry. Cause I got a million reasons to keep holding on. Yeah, I got all that it takes to win and overcome what I got.
Hello, welcome to Richby's Life Adventures. It's a lovely bank holiday weekend. Last weekend you saw me make the drawers for the fridge and the step. So now I've been and bought the drawer runners, and I've also been and bought some little wheels just to support that lower drawer. I've still got a bit of a thinking to do as to how to secure the drawers when they're in transit. Obviously that fridge is going to weigh quite a mass once it's full of food or alcohol or soft drinks or a mixture of all. Because it's fitted front to rear of the vehicle, every time I brake that's going to want to shoot out under mass. And the same with the drawer, so if I put stuff in the drawer it's going to start weighing more and it's going to want to come forward as well. Now the situation is it's got to mount flush, like I showed you in the last one. I've got the drawers, I've got the cupboards and everything like that go quite flush to that, so I've got to try and rack my brains as to how to secure that in and stop it from going. So I'm thinking what I might do is put a lock and key on it, so that way then I can just put a keyhole on there and that's reasonably flush, because I only need to secure it whilst I'm in transit. So once I get to a destination I can remove that key and it's no longer an issue. So I can move it in and out and it doesn't matter, because it's not gonna fall out whilst I'm stationary. I need a haircut already. Look, I've got a bit sticking out, bad hair day. So I'm thinking maybe a key lock like you have on a door, and that way it'd be nice and secure and strong. It's going to hold quite a mass. If it can hold a door and someone banging against that door, it's going to hold a fridge in place. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do, unless I think of anything in the meantime. But what I figured is I'm going to get the actual carcass built, get it all in there, and then I can remove that in drawers and secure some sort of locking device. But I'm going to worry about that when it's nearly finished. I've also got to make some way of locking that drawer in place so that when you stand on it, it doesn't shoot in. That doesn't have to be too strong, because it's not like I'm going to go running up there to get in. It just got something to steady it from wanting to shoot in. So my next call now is to get the drawer runners mounted to the drawers. Thinking about it, I've got to trim that lower drawer down as well. As you saw in the last one, I was still quite a bit high on the fridge, so if I can chop about an inch off that lower drawer, I'll just run it through my bench saw, table saw, and trim it down by about an inch. That'll allow me then to space it out and space the next drawer out and give me clearance for getting under the bed. So a little bit of modification on that. So no further ado, I'm going to get cracking while the sun is shining. So I've got the mic on today, so you should hear me a little bit louder and clearer. So let's get cracking. So I've trimmed it down, took about an inch off. Still makes a nice rigid frame, so it shows how strong it is. So at the moment that's only got one screw in there, so, and that's still keeping nice and strong. So I don't know what I'm going to do. That probably bash it up and burn it, but I'll keep it for a little while, see if I can make a use of it. Yeah, so before I actually screw the lid on, I'm going to put that back in place and put the fridge box on top, just in case I need to trim just a fraction more off. So I'm going to go and check that now, check back in with you in a minute and let you know what I have to do. There we go, back together. Now as you notice, I've had to turn this around for the simple reason that if I put the hinges here in the middle, it's not going to give it very much stability at the back. So I flipped the box around again and mounted it with, so the holes are at the front. That's still going to get covered anyway with a drawer front, and the holes will still make a good difference to air circulation, because that drawer front is not going to be a total seal on that, so that'll be good to go. I think that'll give me now 15mm clearance now between the top of the fridge, if I leave 4 or 5mm gap in between each drawer and the floor. So my next thing now is to see about fitting the drawer runners and then the wheels to the bottom of this drawer. Then I can set about then making the outer carcass now. Right, so these are my drawer runners. Each pair of these will hold 55 kilos. I weigh more than 55 kilos. I've just been and weighed myself in kilos and I'm 115 kilos. Lard arse. Right, the box is mounted upside down at the minute. I put the drawer runners on and I've done my best to make sure they're exactly level with the bottom, because if they're slightly on the P, the drawer will bind up. If they're, you know, like that, it'll bind up as it goes back and forth. So if I can make them level on this, make them level on the outer wall, that should be good to go. I was also thinking, if I want to up the load rating, potentially I could get another load of these drawer runners, another 2 sets per drawer. That'll still work out cheaper. What did I say these were? 55 kilos. That would take it to 110, wouldn't it? So I'm not far off it then. That means them wheels are doing barely anything. You know what I mean? So it ends up being like that. Get the drift? So you end up with double drawer runners. So that'd be 55 kilos per side then, 110 in total. Could do that, couldn't I? Yeah, I'm going to fit that other one now, and then we'll just be too short for the top. Okay guys, so my next port of call now is to figure out how wide I want the side walls. This is a door I've made up for the back, for like the gas taps, you know, them 2 holes in the back of the bed towards the back doors. So I've pre-made those. So that's how thick the side bit's going to be, and then that's only 3mm in the middle. You saw me make these sort of doors when I did the cupboards. And then the bed bulkheads at the front of the bed towards, you know, the kitchen area is this thickness, 12mm. So that one's mounting on there. So pretend this is the bed bulkhead. I want them to sit flush. So when that's level with the front of the bed, the drawers rather, when that comes in like that, the bed bulkhead and then doors are flush. And then what I'll do is I'll make it so that there's a slight gap, not as big as that, I mean that's not even straight, but you know what I mean, there's a slight gap between the two, giving a nice finish to the drawers. So then what I need to do is measure how big I want that from there to the back of the drawer. So now that's in place, I'll measure with a tape measure how far that is from there to the back of the drawers. That is 37cm or 14.5 inches. So what I'll do is I'll set about ripping 2 bits of wood down 37cm wide, and then I'll calculate how high I want that, and I think I said 69 if I remember rightly the other day. So I'll get them 2 sides ripped down, then I'll rip the 69cm, and then I'll measure then how wide I want the back piece. Okay, so I've got my each side done. I've laid it on its side at the minute because what I want to do now is measure how wide I want the back piece. 60.4. 60.4, I'll get that right. 60.4. So what I'll do now is I'll double check the height of the bed slats to see where that is. Now, a little tip for you guys: if you ever want to measure between two objects, don't bend your tape measure like that and then try and guess the radius of that curve and figure it out. If you just do the end of your tape measure like that, nice and square, and then measure up to where you need it, right? On the back of all your tape measures, I don't know if you've ever realised this, but there's a measurement there. In this case, it's 3 1/8, which that is the width of this bit. So what you can do is stand it on there, find your measurement, reading on there, and then add 3 1/8. And if you want to know what that is in centimetres, 3 1/8 is 8 centimetres. So I've just measured it, and it's 67 centimetres, or 670, whatever you want to call it. We'd add 80 to that, which then makes 75, if my maths is correct. So I've got the bits cut now. They'll go like that with the drawers in between. Now the back bit is slightly taller. Like I said, the front beam that goes across the bulkhead is a slightly thicker beam, so that'll then stand up along the bed, and that'll give me a chance then to screw that one up to the top of the bed, to the slats on the underside. So I'll set about now, pocket hole jig along there, I'll run a bead of glue, screw that in, same on that side, and then I can mount the drawers in. So I'm going to pop you on time lapse now and you can see what I do. Right guys, I had a bit of a brainwave that the drawers are removable. Now for that reason I'm wondering, excuse that line, that's nothing to do with it, but if I cut a hatch in there as big as I can with keeping some strength in, hinge the top of it, if I ever take the drawers out I could potentially lift that hatch and I'll get the full length as storage. I don't know whether I'm probably never going to use it though, but at least I've got that option if I go and buy a carpet that I want to go and pick up myself for, because you know they charge you delivery costs and that if you have a carpet fitted, or I don't know, picking up a ladder, or I don't know, like awning. We want an awning for the van. If we bought one second hand, or it's cheaper to go and pick it up, I could potentially take them drawers out, lift this hatch and slide it in. That would give us a 4.5 metre load space. I don't know whether I'm wasting my time. Right, I've made the decision, I'm going to hatch it. I'll probably never use it, and then what I'm going to do is like a bathroom cabinet lock that goes across there and locks it in place. And then what I can do is I'm going to cut that out, hinge that. So let's get a tape measure and just work out what I did that. So I've done the opening 29 centimetres wide by 48 centimetres high. And like I said, I'm probably never going to use this, but the option there is, like I said, I'll remove the drawers because you can just flip the levers at the side and slide the drawers off the runners. And if I ever want to go and collect anything, the van becomes a bit of a workhorse. Like we went and fetched a washing machine the other day, I managed to measure the kitchen length and the opening to be able to fit a washing machine or some large object. So if you ever want to use the van as a van, I can go and collect stuff, and this will give me the option then of collecting anything long. It will rarely ever get used, but whilst I'm building it, I might as well make the option of being able to flip this up and have a 4.5 metre payload. There we have it. So I could potentially put a hook on there and then hook it to the underside of the bed. So if we ever want to put anything long in the van, I've got that option in the future. I'll set about doing the pocket hole screws and then giving it a quick sand. Okay, so now I've got it all in. I've not secured it to the top or the bottom yet, for the simple reason I want to switch the heating on and see with a thermometer, see where the pipes are before I go ramming a screw in. And then I'm going to make sure it's all square as well. I know it's square that way, and they're equal from the front to the back, but I don't know if it's equal from corner to corner yet, and I can do that when I put all the screws in around the bottom and around the top. So at the moment it can go like that, if you know what I mean. So I've got that hatch in, that'll, and let's see if I can get it open. It's a bit of wood there I was using to make sure it's the same width front and rear. So that'll give me option then to use the full length of the van if I want. And I'll get some bathroom door locks, either one either side or one in the middle or whatever. And I think that would come in quite handy should I ever need it. I don't think I will, to be quite honest. So yeah, I'm gonna I've sanded it back a bit. That's where you can see some bits sanding there. I'll give it all a lick of paint as well in white when it's in there, you know, when it's all finished. I'll take the hinges off as well and lick paint that and then screw all that back on. And then all this will be in here white. I've still got to build my gas locker. Got to get my refillable gas bottle. I was going to go for an underslung one. I still might yet, I don't know. But if not, I'll get an inboard one. And I might have a valve yet that means I can have an exchangeable bottle. So I can flip the valve. So if I go somewhere and I can't find anywhere that does gas, LPG, I can exchange my bottle if I'm totally out. Yeah, I'll just take you around the other side and show you that. So this is from inside under the bed. Look, pan out to the kitchen. So I've got neaten it all up, make sure it's square, and make sure none of these screws that I put in along the bottom either side are going to go into any pipes. If they do, I just won't have any screws in there. I'll probably just get one or two in along the back and that'll do, and then some along the top. And then next thing I've got to do is get my flush router bit and router this bit out. It'll come back to about there, giving a similar gap to that side. So yeah, I'll router all that off. I'll flush cut that bit to that bit of wood that's under there, and then I can hopefully see if my drawers fit in there. They probably won't. They'll probably all bind up, probably none of it's square. I don't know, I'm shit at carpentry, I really am, but I'm doing it myself. Alright, so got that done. It's made a bit of a mess, look. So I took this door off just so the router could get back. Instead of taking that out, I just used one of these flush saws and just went up there like that. And I did the same near the bottom, because obviously you can't get the router all the way down to the bottom. So I just went down with that. Run my flush bit cutter along the top as well. So that's all the size I need to make it. Now what I've got to do is just run my DA sander over that and make it all nice and paint it all in there, and that'll be good to go. But first I'm going to trial fit everything, make sure it's all square and right, and then I'll set about painting it after. Right, so I've got it in there, it fits in there really snug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to space it out now, and then I'm going to set about mounting the drawer runners to the outer walls. So like I said, these are panels that I made for the back of the van, but they'll go in there, you know, one that fits, and it's nice and flush then, and the same that side. That'll enable the drawer then to still open because that'll sit flush. Just pop this filter housing cupboard door back on. Like I said, then that'll sit there nice, and it is slightly thicker that side than that side. I just didn't want to have to cut two sides, so I could have equaled it out a little bit more, but I'm not that anal where it has to be exactly the same either side. But that looks quite good. You know, it's getting there. Still got to sand and prep all the drawer and all things like that, but I'm heading in the right direction. Okay, so a little bit more fettling, sanded down the box a little bit more, made it all nice and flush. It still pulls in and out nice. It's definitely gonna have to have the wheels. It ain't gonna take my weight. I don't even think it would take Debbie's. So I've definitely got to put the wheels on, which I anticipated, that's why I bought them. Another modifications I'm going to make is, because they don't pull out too far, if you see what I mean. When I get the other drawer on there, and that's back here, that lid is only going to be able to open like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to remake this with only a single hole in the middle, because I sort of made a boo-boo on that. But then I'm also going to make it so, I mean, I could reuse this one and just trim it down there, but anyway, I'll make it in two sections. So the hinges, it would be on top, there'll be a bit going along there, and then the hinges would be about here. So that will enable then for that to lift all the way up, and it'll pivot from about here. Do you get what I mean? So that means it'll enable it to be fully open. Yeah, but that goes in and out nice. Well happy with that. So now I just need to be able to get some other runners and do the same on the top drawer. Right, all sanded. I didn't go to town on filler in it because you ain't really going to see this side because the cupboard's there. So much so that I haven't really even painted that side because all the cupboards are going to be there. So I mainly concentrated on the edges and inside. It's just an undercoat primer. I haven't done the top because, like I said, I'm going to put a tread plate on there. I'm remade the top bit look so that I can kick that all the way up. Yeah, quite happy with that. So once that's dry, I'll give it a light sand off. A couple of coats of top coat in there, make it all look pretty. Yeah, don't look too bad. And then I've got to do the same with the upper drawer. Right guys, so I'm going to wrap that video off there. I was hoping to do it in a two-parter, but it's going to break out into a three-parter. They're just proving too long. So in the next video, you'll see me mounting the runners onto the top drawer, securing all them into the rear bookcase, adding the little catches to stop that flap from moving, seeing what catches I can manufacture or buy to lock them drawers in place while I'm in transit, and see about making some doors for the front. So fingers crossed we get it finished in the next part 3. So join us next time when we'll get this finished. So if you like what you've seen, please like, please subscribe, and please share. And if you really feel like it, click that little bell icon and you'll get to see our future videos. And on that note, we'll see you on the next one. See you later.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city light.